Hi guitar peeps, got a new guitar to review for you today, a Guild F2512 12 string. Stand by. Hi everybody, I'm going to do a review today. New instrument here in my stable of instruments. This is a Guild F2512. I picked this up used from Guitar Center. I went into Guitar Center one day just on a whim and picked up one, and man, it played really good. What I especially liked about it was the string spacing. My type of fingerstyle guitar, I like to have a particular kind of string spacing, and this was just really optimal. I have owned one other Guild guitar before that. It was a dreadnought size, not a jumbo, and thoroughly enjoyed playing and recording with that one and performed with that one for many years before I sold it. This one is a jumbo body, solid spruce top, Sitka spruce top, flamed maple laminate around the sides and the back. The back of the instrument is arched. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, you can see a little bit there. It is arched to give a little bit larger sound chamber. The finish is transparent black, as you can see. So you can see the flame in the maple, which is really pretty with the black finish. Fingerboard is Pal Ferro, which feels a lot like rosewood. I'm not particularly picky on fingerboard woods. I've owned 12 strings with rosewood, maple, what else? Ebony, and the Pal Ferro feels just fine. It's not. You doesn't feel like it's a cheaper wood or anything. It's just an environmentally friendly wood, since rosewood is now becoming somewhat endangered, and and there are a lot of restrictions on importing it into the United States. It has sort of medium frets on it, not jumbo frets, which is really nice. I like medium frets on a 12 string. It helps with some of the intonation problems that you might have as your pressure varies on the strings in different positions on the neck. The tuners on it are the Guild style with the G on the back of them, and they work fine. That's probably the one downside of the instrument, is that the tuners, you'll find a lot of 12 strings are like this, that as you're tuning them, you'll get this kind of kink, 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 a little bit of slippage in there. I may replace them in the future at some particular time. Some typical things of the Guild guitars, both the jumbos and the dreadnoughts, a really thick bridge and bridge plate underneath, which makes the instrument stable. It doesn't weigh it down. 12 string has so much tension, so much power coming into it that it needs that for stability, and it just makes the guitar feel good and solid. The balance is really nice. Cutaway is super good for getting up into the high range. I do occasionally venture up there when I'm doing my fingerstyle stuff, and it's kind of nice to have that there even when you're not using it. The weight and balance of the instrument feels really good and solid. The neck on the thing is probably the biggest feature. Guild necks are kind of on the wide side. The American-made Guilds have 2 truss rods in them, which makes the neck pretty thick. But this is a single truss rod instrument, but the neck is nice and chunky. It's wide, and it's it feels like a fairly flat radius. It is radiused, but it feels fairly flat. And the string spacing is what I really enjoy the most on this, compared to like a Martin style string spacing. When you're doing fingerstyle guitar, especially complex finger picking, this makes it a whole lot easier to get in between the strings and even pick the individual strings. Bone saddle, bone nut. There's some abalone around the sound hole, and it's got looks like 3-ply celluloid binding all around. Bound fingerboard, which feels good. It's kind of a luxury to have that. The back of the neck is not gloss though. It's kind of a sort of semi-satin. It's not completely satin, but it is it's not a gloss, but it doesn't feel like it's something in between a satin and a gloss. And it feels good, doesn't feel slippery. And when you're playing, you feel like you got some traction there to kind of hang on to it. It has a Fishman pickup system in it, which sounds really amazing, which you heard the little sample of me playing it at the beginning of the video here. That was coming through the pickup through a small acoustic amplifier and a little pedal board. I had a little bit of chorus and delay on that, and so it just sounded huge as a house. The under saddle pickup is hooked into two controls. There's a volume and a tone control here. It's not real precise EQ, but I actually prefer something that's much simpler on the guitar itself, so I'm not having to mess with highs and lows. All that I'm going to do either through my effects rack or through the front of house board or through my amp. Either way, that works fine. This thing this is unplugged now. It's plugged in, but I just don't have the amp on, and so. The action is good. It was a little bit high when I first got it, but I bought this instrument used. Like I said, I found one in Guitar Center that I really liked, and I looked around to find a used one because then I could save a couple $100. List price on these I think was around $825. The ones that you normally find in the store with the satin finish, the non-deluxe models, run $5.99 to $6.99 depending on the finish. This transparent black also has a transparent blue companion, if you want to, within this series of it. I don't think they make a gloss natural finish though, which would be kind of nice if they did. That blonde wood stuff would look really nice on it. But the action, after I tweak the action on this thing feels and plays great. This nice wide flat expansive fingerboard allows you to get in there and do some get in there and pick individual notes if you want to, which is pretty good. The string-to-string balance is very good, highs, lows, but the big body, the bass is just massive on this thing. When you hit these blow notes, you just feel them rumble against your chest. A lot of fun. You can really get in there and crank into this thing. Hit it hard, hit it soft. The bass end, the blow notes sound like a piano. The high end has all this nice tinkle and jangle that you would want. I have it tuned a half step down. You could tune it to concert pitch easy enough with light gauge strings. These are just Diodario lights that are on it here. I have tried and messed around the last few weeks that I've had it with some Diodario mediums, and it also holds the Diodario mediums well with the little truss rod adjustment. I've kind of settled on the lights for now, but I may switch back depending on how I want to do the tuning on this. I have 12 strings, several ones, and some I keep tuned a whole step down, some a half step down, some concert pitch, and every now and again I'll tune them all the way down to like a C sharp, a step and a half down. So it just depends on what I'm playing and what kind of mood I'm in. So I would really strongly recommend, if you're looking for a 12 string, you can't beat a Guild. They're made in Asia. They are a whole lot less expensive than the American-made Guild line, and at the same time, they're head and shoulders away of Epiphone 12 strings, Takamine 12 strings. Just the feel and sound of the Guilds are really outstanding. So I'll just leave you with that, and remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for checking in the channel, and we'll catch you around.